You ever notice how some flowering houseplants just don't get the love they deserve? Everyone's out here chasing orchids and monsteros while a whole lineup of blooming superstars is chilling in the background like, hey, what about me? These underrated plants can brighten up a room with colors you didn't even know existed indoors. They're tough too, not those high-maintenance divas that freak out if you miss one watering. Some of them bloom for months, others bring wild shapes or fragrances that hit you the moment you walk in. And the best part, they're affordable and easy to find once you know what you're looking for. So today let's give the spotlight to the quiet bloomers that deserve way more hype than they get. Trust me, by the end you'll be wondering how these weren't already in your home. Sunflowers are usually seen towering out in fields, but the dwarf varieties make surprisingly awesome houseplants that people overlook a lot because they think these guys only belong outdoors. So imagine having those bright yellow blooms right inside your living room, bringing instant summer energy. Even in winter they love bright direct light, and if you give them a sunny window and water when the topsoil feels dry, they reward you fast with big cheerful flowers that can last weeks, which is wild for a plant that grows from seed to bloom in about 80 days. They also help lift your mood just by existing, since studies show yellow flowers boost positive feelings, and honestly watching a sunflower follow the light indoors feels like having a tiny piece of sunshine always turning your way. Million bells are those tiny trumpet-shaped flowers that look like mini petunias but way tougher and seriously underrated for indoor spaces because they bloom non-stop with hundreds of flowers at once, adding this bold splash of color that makes you wonder why you never brought them inside before. They thrive in bright light and like their soil to stay slightly moist but not soggy, and if you give them a bit of well-draining mix they keep performing without acting fussy. They also bounce back quickly after a little neglect and are known to attract butterflies outdoors, so indoors they add that same lively vibe without needing any special tricks. Plus the compact trailing shape makes them perfect for hanging pots or shelves where they can spill over like a tiny indoor waterfall of blooms. Allium is one of those plants people forget can actually bloom indoors, and when it does it throws out these perfect round pom-pom flowers that look like something from a sci-fi movie, giving your home this unexpected designer touch without paying designer prices. They love bright light and need soil that drains well because they come from bulb roots and hate sitting in water, but give them a sunny spot and water only when the soil feels dry, and they reward you with long-lasting blooms that can stay bright for weeks. Plus alliums are naturally resistant to pests because of their onion family roots, so you get bold color and clean strong plants with almost no drama, making them a seriously underrated choice for flowering houseplants. Pansies are usually treated like outdoor seasonal flowers, but indoors they become these cheerful little faces that keep blooming even when other plants take a break, and people totally underestimate how well they adapt to a bright window where they show off deep purples, yellows and blues like tiny works of art. They prefer cooler indoor spots and regular watering to keep the soil lightly moist but not muddy, and if you pinch off old blooms they bounce back with even more flowers, which is crazy for how affordable they are. Plus their soft sweet scent and those bold expressive petals make them feel like living decor pieces, bringing personality and color to any room without needing fancy care. Agapanthus is one of those plants you mostly see in big outdoor landscaping, but bring a compact variety inside and suddenly you have these tall elegant stems topped with clusters of star-shaped blue or white flowers that look insanely classy for almost no effort. They thrive in bright indirect light and appreciate a good drink when the top of the soil dries out, plus a well-draining mix keeps their roots happy since they do not like being waterlogged, and once they settle in they bloom for a long stretch, filling your space with this calm coastal vibe that feels like a vacation day every time you look at them. The coolest part is how they grow fuller and more impressive each year, so one little pot can turn into a show-stopping display that makes guests wonder why they have never seen this beauty indoors before. Daylilies are known for decorating garden borders, but indoors they turn into these graceful arching plants that send up vibrant flowers in shades from sunny yellow to deep red, and people forget how easy they are to care for inside. They just want a bright window and water when the soil feels dry to the touch, and they handle a little neglect without throwing a fit. Each bloom lasts only a day like their name says, but the plant keeps producing new ones for weeks, which makes them feel alive and constantly changing. Plus they are tough against pests and look super clean and sculptural even when not in bloom, giving your home a fresh natural look year-round. PORTULACA is one of those sun-loving bloom machines that most folks only think of for patios, but indoors it becomes a compact burst of color that feels like summer all year, with bright pinks, oranges and yellows popping open each morning as long as it gets plenty of sunlight and a sandy, well-draining soil, since it is a succulent at heart and barely needs water because it stores moisture in its thick leaves, which makes it perfect for anyone who forgets the watering can. For days the blooms may close at night, but every morning they wake up again like a tiny routine of happiness, and the best part is how resilient and affordable they are, so you can fill a windowsill with these underrated flowers that act like little cheering squads for your home. SUNPATIENS fly under the radar indoors, even though they are basically bloom tanks that keep pushing out flowers non-stop in bold reds, pinks and whites without asking for much. They handle bright indirect light like champs and keep their leaves lush if you water when the topsoil dries a little, but not let them sit soaked since they like steady moisture without drowning. They are bred to be tougher than regular impatiens, so they do not melt down when conditions shift, and they keep their color show going longer than most houseplants dare. Plus their full bushy shape makes a room feel instantly more alive, which is wild considering how affordable and easy they are for such reliable year-round indoor blooms. Peonies are usually garden royalty, but keeping a compact peony indoors gives you these massive ruffled flowers that feel like luxury blooms without the luxury care, and people have no idea they can actually thrive inside with bright light and cool temps, especially near a sunny window where they can build up strong buds. They do best in a well-draining mix and only need watering when the top layer dries a bit, since their tuber roots do not like sitting in soggy soil, and when those big flowers open up with soft fragrance and petals laid like a designer bouquet, it turns any corner of your home into a showpiece. Plus the fact that one bloom can last over a week makes them a seriously underrated pick for indoor flowering plants that look like something straight out of a magazine. Salvia indoors is one of the biggest surprises because people think it is just a garden plant for hummingbirds, but bring a compact variety inside and you get these tall colorful spires in blues, purples or reds that look super dramatic without any fancy care. They love bright light and prefer watering when the topsoil dries out a bit, since their roots like air, not soggy conditions, and they reward you with long blooming cycles that keep the color going longer than most houseplants can dream of. Plus they release a soft herbal scent when you brush the leaves, which makes the whole room feel calm and fresh, proving salvia deserves way more attention as a unique, easy flowering houseplant. Coneflower might be the most slept on indoor blooming plant because everyone thinks it only belongs in big outdoor flower beds, but a compact coneflower in a pot gives you those bold daisy-like petals and that cool raised center cone that looks really artistic up close. They love a bright sunny window and only need water when the top part of the soil dries, which makes them pretty low stress, and once they start blooming they keep it up for weeks, sending out fresh flowers like they have something to prove. They're naturally strong against pests, and the blooms even attract butterflies outdoors, so inside they bring that same lively energy without any extra work. Plus they come in wild colors like hot pink and fiery orange, so you get a fun pop of personality that makes guests say, wait, you can grow that in here. Thanks for hanging out with me and giving these underrated flowering houseplants the credit they finally deserve, because honestly they bring just as much color and joy as the trendy plants everyone talks about. So if you are ready to level up your indoor garden, grab one of these hidden gems and watch your space transform in the coolest way possible. And hey, if you found a new favorite today, make sure to hit like, drop a comment telling me which one you are adding to your home, and subscribe for more simple fun plant ideas that keep your home blooming year round.